friends, my name is Joey. Welcome to my channel and welcome to video number 10 in my series Pearls Reimagined, Not Your Nonna's Pearls. And what is special about this video is it's actually the third one where the pearls and the beads are coming from my collaboration box that I do with Stella of Didi Beads. So I've already done quite a few projects with the beads in this box, and this is what I have left that I am still working with. And so in today's project, it's not going to be so much about technique, but it's going to be about the composition. And I'm going to be doing two bracelets, and the first of which is going to use one of these Baroque pearls that are fresh water, and also a Baroque coin pearl that's also fresh water. The pearls in this box were just fabulous. I'm going to be using 3 to 5 of these check glass coin beads that are vintage pink, and I'm going to be cutting open my strand of pink Peruvian opal beads here and sorting through and kind of selecting the ones that I want. And as I said, this is going to be about the scale and the composition of a bracelet. So these beautiful pink rice pearls were also in our box, but if you can see, they were only 4 millimeters. So if I were to use those in my bracelet composition, I would have to make them larger by possibly creating a component out of them, like a ring that could be added in. And I'm not sure, I don't think I'm going to do that. I did do rather extensive sketches of the pieces that I hope to get out of the contents of this box, and that was not in my plan, but those sketches are only a place to start. I can link the first 2 videos that I did with this box, because in the first one I did show my sketchbook, and it's not really artwork, as I said in that video. It's really just me working out my designs. So I am going to do the 2 pearls together to make a statement. I'm also thinking I might pull more in, but I'm thinking that I'm going to use some of these spacer beads. We did have beautiful corrugated beads, but I really like kind of the contemporary lines of these disc beads, and these are really, they're gold plated, and they're really inexpensive, but they look super expensive. I'll link those in the description box, but I really just like the profile. Just to give you an idea, I really just kind of like the profile of them. And so this bracelet is going to be not so much color blocked, but pattern blocked. So I'm going to kind of lay things out on my mat, but I have already cut my bracelet length. I'm sort of thinking out loud, but I'm going to be using my 49 strand multi-purpose medium bead stringing wire from Softflex company, and I chose the bone color. I would have done their gold, but I don't have any right now. So that's what I'm going to be using, and I will be also using the Softflex company number 2 crimp tubes. They work so beautifully with the magical crimping plier. But you can also do a normal fold over crimp with these crimp tubes, but these are gold filled, and they're just really high quality. They don't tarnish, and they're just lovely. So I'm going to use 2 for this bracelet and 2 for the other bracelet. And now I'm just going to sort through the opal beads here and choose the ones. These are top drilled, but they're very irregular, and as I like to say, perfectly imperfect, and I just love them. I love the color. So I'm going to choose kind of the ones where they're I don't know how to say, the hole is, you know, I want it staggered. I don't want it to be too lined up, but I want just to have kind of the same, like there's a couple of them in here that I probably wouldn't use in my bracelet, like that one. So I'm just going to play, and like this one is really a short little stick. So I'm going to kind of pull off here. I always do that when I get gemstones. I sort through them, even with pearls. I sort through them. Okay, I have this beautiful collection that I've been using a lot in my pearl series because they are gold filled and diamond cut, and there are 3 sizes of these jump rings, and they're quite heavy gauge. They look like a solid ring when they're closed really well, so they really make these types of designs beautiful. So these are the ones that I'm going to set aside for another project, and I really like to work in odd numbers when I am composing a design. There's something really pleasing. It's my interior design background. Floral designers will do flowers in 3s, 5s, 7s, that kind of thing. I mean, there's also a place for 2, 4s, and 6s, like if you're flanking a fireplace or a front door, and that applies in jewelry as well. But for this, I'm going to be doing the odd numbers in my add-in beads, and of course I'm doing just the 2 pearls, so I'm kind of combining the 2 design principles, if that makes sense. And I don't think that I'm going to need 5 of my vintage pink check glass coin beads, but they're there if I want them. And I am going to use these are literally left over from my last bracelet project. I've been using these Rosaline check glass O beads, and these pink metallic O beads, and the gold O beads, and then these are 11O seed beads, and all of my metallics here are Duracoat Perma Finish, so that, you know, they keep their color and they don't darken. The gold and the metallic doesn't rub off. And I don't think I'm going to be using these, but these are vintage seed beads that I purchased at a bead shop. I was on a 4-day excursion with a friend last summer, and the shop owner had purchased an estate sale, and I have a lot of other colors too, and they were just absolutely perfection with the pink opal here, but I don't think I'll be using those in this bracelet. And then as I was sorting through, I cannot help myself, but I have 5 beads here, 5 opal beads here that I just love the way they look lined up, and so this is going to also get set aside just like that for another project. And I'm thinking a necklace, a focal for a necklace. So that's what happens to me, and I'm sure that you guys can relate, is the more you design, the more you create, the better you get, and the more ideas and designs that come to you. It's in the doing, in other words. So I am going to start off with my number 2 crimp tube and get a crimp in one, crimp a loop in one end. And let me think for a moment. I think I'm going to work from this end. So I'm going to check and see if my jump ring is closed really well. I can see that it's not. And use this jump ring, actually before I close it really well, I'm going to open it really well and just add my lobster clasp. These are gold plated, and what I love about these, they make bracelets really easy to clasp because it has a swivel, so it's really easy to clasp. So I'm going to close this really well and crimp this on right on here. And in this case, I'm not going to do anything to my soft flex wire. I am just going to let it show just as it is. There's so many pretty colors in the soft flex wire, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite. It is my favorite. I'm just checking to see. I think 2 strands will fit back down through that check glass bead, which always makes me happy if my cut end will go down through a bead or 2. And I don't want to make that loop so small that it's not fluid, but I also don't want it to be gaping. So that's good. I have good movement. And I'm going to use my magical crimping plier. And as I said, this isn't going to be so much about technique as it is about the pattern and the composition and the scale and the things that make a good design. Okay, so I'm crimped and I can start stringing. And so this is a 2mm crimp tube, and when it is crimped into a bead, it really mimics the 11-0 seed beads, because 11-0s are usually around 2mm. So that, you know, kind of tricks the eye. See if this will go through. Nope, it does not. Okay, that makes me happy when my bead stringing wire will go back down through a couple of beads, but it's not always possible. I'm going to just trim really close. I also have, sitting off to the side here, I also have a few check glass daisy rondelles. They're sort of a fluted disc bead, puffy disc bead, and I'm going to put a few of these out here too, because I may incorporate them. I was thinking to just dot these with seed beads, but I'm going to play a little bit because they really are a beautiful size for these, you know, kind of chunky sticks. So let's play a little bit with that idea, and I'm also going to play with what it looks like to just have a seed bead dot in between each disc, and it's really pretty. Not each disc, each coin. I love disc beads so much. I think I say the word disc a lot. And so there's a difference, like these little demi rounds are so beautiful. And I'm just going to put it on so you can kind of see. You get a completely different profile, and I really like it. I think I'm going to use my demi rounds here in between. I'm just going to play for a second with how I want to start this off. Okay, I really like that, and I actually decided to mix the two. So can you see the different profile you get? The demi rounds are one of my favorite types of seed bead. I just love them. But I just decided to mix the two, and I love it. And then a couple of these check glass daisy rondelles really help because my spacer beads have a really large hole. So they really help to kind of anchor that spacer bead. And then I'm going to see what the demi round looks like in between each of my pink opal beads. I may go back to a seed bead, but I'm going to string on a few and see what I think. Okay, I absolutely love it. I think it is stunning. I love how the shapes are coordinating and complementary, but there's so many different shapes, and I just love it. And there's not a single round bead or druck bead in the piece, and I just love that. And I have decided that instead of stringing my length to have it just, you know, one length, I am going to use a piece of solid brass gold plated chain. I have beautiful chain from Purity Beads, so I'm just going to grab that really quickly, and I'm going to crimp on this end the same way that I did here, and I'm going to go probably to a smaller jump ring, and this is going to give me a spot to do a really pretty dangle at the end of my chain. And I actually have some made up that I didn't use from my other project, so maybe I'm just going to do a little cluster on the bottom with what I already have made up instead of one big bead. Let me get my chain out and I'll play with the idea of having a cluster, since this is all very lined up and, you know, it's contemporary, and I don't know, I just really love it. To me, this is very avant-garde, and I kind of like the idea of having a cluster at the end of an extender chain because it's unexpected. Usually that's where you would just have one bead. So let me grab some chain and I'll be right back. Okay, This is the one I'm going to use. I absolutely love it. And again, I love the scale of it with what's going on here. It's not a really big link, but it's not a super petite link. And so I will tell you that this jump ring assortment comes in 3 different sizes. So if you don't have like really beautiful high quality chain, you can also create the look of an extender chain by linking 2, 3, 4 jump rings, whatever you need. And these would be really beautiful as that. But this is from Purity Beads. It's solid brass, it's gold plated and then e-coated for anti-tarnish, but the links are solid. So when I need to cut one, I lose that link, but I don't waste it. I cut it at an angle on the side. I'll show you when I get to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have, I have like several feet of it off to the side, but I'm going to crimp it right onto my soft flex wire and then check my length and choose exactly where I want to cut it, just to make sure that I don't waste any of my beautiful chain. It's really high quality and I just love it. So I feed my, I need to have my chain on the right side of my crimp tube to make that loop. And once I do, it will be good. And I'm going to just make a loop through the chain, go back down through the crimp tube, and then let me see if this will go in my daisy. Check glass daisy. No, everything today has really small holes. That's okay. It just makes me happy when my cut end can hide down away from my clasp. So I'm just going to pull, and I want to kind of match this loop to the other end. And I also want to make sure that when I crimp this, that it's not in a straight line. I want a really fluid bracelet. So I always lay mine out like this, and if I need to back this down a little bit of space in between everything so that my bracelet is not rigid. Okay, and I will say here that even though you don't need to put a crimp cover over a magically crimped bead, sometimes when I'm working with a little bit larger scale bead, sometimes that will look too small to me, and I will come back and put a crimp cover on top of them. Okay, I think I'm going to have 7 links for my extender. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have to snip this one right here. And when I have such a beautiful chain, I'll just go at an angle and carefully open it. And this just becomes a really fancy oval jump ring. I would never throw that away because, and it's a good thick gauge too. I have a little collection of them and I save them so then I can put the rest of my chain away and I don't lose anything. And now I'm going to create something. This was going to be my clasp, but you know, designs are subject to change. That's part of the creative process. So I'm going to just take a really small, do I want a really small one or do I want a big one on the end? I want to gather up, I want to make like a cluster. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stick with the big one. I really like how, again, it's the composition for me. I really like how it makes a statement, like you have an actual ring on the end of your extender chain and it looks purposeful. It doesn't look like, you just added in a jump ring. So I'm going to take and open this jump ring and I'm going to feed these on. These are just dangles that were left over from this project. I made them when I was doing the earrings and this bracelet and I didn't use everything, but I knew I wasn't finished creating, so I just left them as is. And I'm going to alternate one of the pearl dangles with a flower dangle and a pearl, and again, odd numbers. There's 3 pearl drops and 2 bellflower drops, and they're alternated. So it's a beautiful little cluster. Look at that. And like, it's so unexpected to have a cluster at the end of a bracelet. And also, I think it's very avant-garde and contemporary to have this rather large jump ring. But can you see these diamond cut jump rings, when you close it really well, it looks like a solid ring. So this bracelet is done. It's so gorgeous. I absolutely love every element. Whoops, the way I put my bracelets on, and as everybody knows, you can never clasp a bracelet on camera, but I lay my extender chain across my arm and then come around with my lobster claw, and these ones that have a swivel base are really, really easy to clasp. Of course, not when the camera's rolling. You can never clasp your bracelet when the camera's rolling. And I have to tell you guys, I did not intend for this bracelet to be stackable with the one that I did in my last video, but look how amazing they go together. And we had this beautiful white glass pearl, a very satin pearlescent finish on it, and adding in the little white check spacers, it's just beautiful. And like I said, I did not mean to have a bracelet stack, a stack, but I do, and I love this. I love this finished off. So I'm going to jump into my next design, and for this one I'm going to do something a little bit different. On the Didi Beads website, she has added colors of these brecciated disc spacer beads. They're gemstone beads, and they were in the Didi Deluxe bead box a month ago, and I love them. It was a multicolor strand. That was a carnival themed box, but when she got more colors, I went on the website and placed an order, a personal order, because I love this bead. And this is a little, I was thinking I would not be able to stack it, that I was departing a little bit from the color palette in the box. But now that I'm looking at it, I don't know, I might just add that in. But I'm going to be using that, and I'm going to be using the last Baroque pearl in the box, and maybe these are also from Didi Beads. It's one of my favorite check glass shapes. These are elongated check glass bide cones, and I just love them. And I was thinking maybe one of those, and I'll stick with my same elements that I've been using in everything else. So I'm going to get another piece of this bone bead stringing wire off the spool. You can string right from the spool if you want to, but I usually don't. So I need about a 7-inch bracelet, and give myself a little bit extra here. I might as well just stick with the same jump rings, the same everything that I've been doing. Gonna do one of those for that. I might even do an extender chain on this one as well. Let me see how it works out. I love this gold-plated, 18-karat gold-plated lobster clasp assortment. I might just stick with the same one. Let me see about, again, it's about scale for me, and that looks a little bit big. This is one of my favorite ones, but it doesn't have the swivel base. So maybe I'll just choose this one. So I'm going to start this one exactly the way that I started the first bracelet. Okay, I'm going to cut open my strand of these disc beads, and I'm going to play with doing those O beads in between, but maybe not every single one. Maybe I'm just going to play with my pattern, because again, for me, this is about composition, and I wasn't sure if my wire would go back down through. Oh, it does. That makes me happy. So maybe I'm going to try the odd count again of 3 beads. Three beads, a disc spacer. Oh, that's such a good size for those. And then 3 more beads. So I'm just going to play a little bit. Stringing and making bead patterns is like the most fun and the best therapy you can have. I just absolutely love it. It's one of my coping mechanisms. It's really good for mental health, for like getting rid of negative thoughts. Your hands are busy, your mind is concentrating on color and shape and texture, and it's just a really positive thing to do. So what do you guys think? I was thinking I might do 3 sections with the disc beads touching each other, and then do a section with my demi rounds in between, and just to break it up. I think you see the discs a little bit better. Let me try that. Let me string a few more and try that. Okay, this is where I wish some of you were here with me and you could tell me what you think, if I should have this pink bicone in. I think I like it. I really do think that I like it. It's a little bit different, and I do like the corrugated spacer. Okay, I'm going to go with that. I have this beautiful strand left. So I decided for this end, because I don't want anything too contrived in this piece, to sort of repeat this little station of beads that's in between my pearl and my bicone. So a gold seed bead, and then 2 discs with a demi round in between, and then my crimp bead will be here, and it's going to mimic that gold seed bead. So I'm just looking at my composition once again, and that's what I decided to do. Okay, and this beautiful piece is done, and I just love this type of a piece, because with some of the pieces you don't get to really see both sides of a Baroque pearl, and each has its own beauty. And so this, I can actually spin it around, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. I will do one more thing. If you've been on my channel before, you know what that is. I'm going to take my Permalac coating, because these are just fashion jewelry spacers, as well as the beautiful gold-plated corrugated spacer. And I am just going to take a little scrap of plastic. I keep these little dishes when I cut open wire or anything. And I'm just going to go down the line. My seed beads do not need it. My gold-filled jump rings do not need it. My gold-filled crimp beads do not need a coat, because they're all anti-tarnish. But these guys do. And so I'm just going to go down the line and brush each one of them with my coating. And this dries really fast. It's also very forgiving if you accidentally brush one of your beads with it. This is the semi-gloss, not the matte, but the semi-gloss just disappears. You can't see it when it dries. So I'm just going to work my way down my piece and put this anti-tarnish coating on, and I'm going to take the bracelet off, the first one that we did, and do that one as well. Yeah, the spacer beads in that one need to be done as well. So I'll always put a link in the description box, because this is one of my favorite products that I've found in the last few years. I used to gather up all the pieces that I had made and go out in a hot garage with Krylon spray and newspaper and try not to spray my beads, just spray the metal things. And it was really a pain, really difficult, and smelly and hot. And this is just so great. Takes a minute or 2 at the end of my work to just brush this over the metal findings. It dries really fast, and I'm adding quality to my work. So I'll just set it in here to dry, and as always I'll put a little video, close pictures of these two beautiful pieces up at the end. And if you check the description box, mine are very comprehensive. You often have to tap more underneath the description of the video and then more again to open the entire thing. And I will link anything that I know where I got it, that I can share with you guys. The links are there. There are links to Didi beads. I do have a discount code if you're a new first-time customer to Didi beads. It does not work on our collaboration box, which, by the way, at the time of this filming, we still had a few left. It doesn't work on the Didi Deluxe Bead Box or the Deluxe Check Bundle because she bundles those and discounts them already. But on about 80% of the website, my discount code will give you a little discount there. So, you know, check my description box like always. And I hope everybody is safe and well and having fun on your beading mats. See you in the next video.